This is Pat McCarthy, radio broadcaster for the Lehigh Valley IronPigs, AAA affiliate of the Philadelphia Phillies. Like so many others that work in the sports industry, my life has been put on pause since the beginning of this global pandemic. I don't think a lot of us realize how much our lives revolve around sports. Sure, it's the way that we make our living, and sure, it's how we spend a lot of our time, but I don't think a lot of us realized how much sports is a release for us. It's a way for us to get away from what else is going on around us and everything else that is going on in the outside world, and unfortunately right now we just don't have that escape. But I've been doing my part, and I've been doing my best to stay engaged with sports, whether that is on social media, communicating with other broadcasters around the International League, or with that, even communicating with players amongst the Phillies organization. I started my own podcast where I've had an opportunity to interview players from the Phillies minor league system over Zoom. It allows a face-to-face conversation. We've been doing some fun things, more than just talking heads on a computer screen. We've gotten to play horse. We've played cornhole over Zoom. So it's been a great opportunity to build on relationships, which I can then ultimately use these connections for later broadcasts to help when it is a 19-5 game in the middle of the sixth inning in a hot July. And frankly, I just need something to talk about. So I'm doing everything I can to try and find a silver lining in what has ultimately been a tough time over the last couple of months. I do think eventually life is going to get back to normal, and I do hope that when that time comes, it's just as we knew it back before this whole pandemic started. I think each and every day things are going to get back just a little bit, and it's not going to be just like turning off a light switch that eventually we flip it back on and life is just as we knew it before this whole thing started. I do think that it is going to take some time, but I think if we all do our parts, I think eventually we can get back to life, but it might just mean being more aware of our surroundings and unfortunately just hunkering down from time to time if, God forbid, this ever does happen again. But what I will say is I do think that we are now more prepared than ever if this does ever happen again. I do think that sports are going to happen again, and I hope that they happen in the near future, but I think we need to take the necessary steps to get to that point. Whether that means self-quarantining players for a couple of weeks and then ultimately playing in front of empty arenas for this summer, I think that's what we have to do. I think at this point we'll do anything that we possibly can to get the games that we love back into action. And unfortunately, that might mean making a couple of sacrifices. With that being said, I think eventually we will get back to the time when we have tens of thousands of screaming fans in an arena at one time. But I think we'll have to take what we can get right now. And if that means watching the NBA Finals in front of empty seats or watching the Stanley Cup Finals played with nothing but ambient noise, frankly, it's just what we're going to have to do. Same thing with baseball season. I think we would all say right now that on a 75-degree day in July, if we got an opportunity to watch a baseball game on TV in front of an empty stadium, that would be just okay. I know that's what I want, and I hope that we can all get back to that really soon.